Salutations, my Legion of Doom. I'm your Time Lord wannabe, the Brainstormer of pop culture. Now, this pitches how I would do the third installment for my version of the Spider-Man in the MCU. I suggest watching my rewrites of Homecoming and Far From Home to get a better context of the characters and story. Now, I'm not saying my ideas for Spider-Man in the MCU are better than what we were presented with, but I feel that a lack of cohesion of ideas between the movies and the central theme of Spider-Man as a character, the responsibility of being a hero. Now, I don't blame the cast or filmmakers for these problems. They did their best. It's just my opinion and my feelings on the matter. I didn't like those movies, but I'm not saying my version is better. I'm just doing this as a hobby and something for you to enjoy, and also test my ability in writing with this story. Again, I'm not saying my version is better, just different take is all. Starting off with the central theme of the movie, which is love, with the realization of love and the abuse of love as primary elements of the overall theme. Now to list the major cast needed for this movie. Like before, I will keep it relatively small. So we have Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man, May Parker, aka Aunt May, Mary Jane Watson, aka MJ, Lonnie Lincoln, aka Tombstone, and Felicia Hardy, aka Black Cat. So the basic plot is, as Peter and MJ ready for their big day to graduate from Milton High, Spider-Man must deal with the elusive and flirtatious thief known as the Black Cat, who has ties to the big man of Queen's underworld, known as Tombstone. So let me give the list of characters from earlier and delve more into them. So first off, we have Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man. As his senior year comes to a close, he's both excited and scared for what might come after he leaves Middleton High. Although he wants to celebrate, he does find the mood soured by the strained relationship with May due to her finding out he's Spider-Man. So while they're at a distance, he does find some normalcy with MJ. Even though she doesn't know his secret identity, he does start noticing how different she's been acting around him lately. He's just focusing on prepping everything for college. Now as Spider-Man, he finds more complications as he comes blows to blows with Black Cat, who gives him a true challenge and is only linked to Tombstone. So now, May Parker, as she's starting to at least attempt to accept the fact that Peter is Spider-Man, while she's trying, it doesn't help that he keeps coming home with a few bruises and cuts, and she doesn't tell MJ because she knows it's Peter's truth to tell. Her anxiety has gotten so worse that she needs to take medication to help her fight her panic attacks. With little to no avail, only time she really finds herself truly calm and at peace is when she visits Ben's grave, where she talks to him, telling him her troubles and how much she worries for their nephew. As Peter and MJ begin prepping for college, she has to accept the fact that Peter is not a child anymore, and really hasn't been for a while now. The sooner she can accept that, maybe they can try and build up the bridge that they thought burned a while ago. Mary Jane Watson, aka MJ, settling in with May and Peter, she's really been starting to like it at the house, even though she does have nightmares of her parents from time to time, and she tries her hardest to conceal it from May and Peter, not wanting to focus on her while they still patch up their relationship. While she tries to get Peter to open up about what's been going on with him and May, she is working up the courage to finally tell Peter her true feelings to him at their graduation. When she's not practicing confessing to Peter, she's busy helping May with things around the apartment and contemplating on whether or not to accept an offer to one of the greatest dramatic art colleges in the country, but it is on the West Coast. Now moving on to the primary antagonist, Lonnie Lincoln, aka Tombstone. Lonnie Lincoln was born in Queens, abandoned at a young age by parents he doesn't care for. He was taken into a foster family who did their best to raise and care for a 6-foot albino kid. He was a little bit of a problem child, constantly getting into fights in and out of school, but his family persisted. While he was still a delinquent, he had softened when a young Felicia Hardy came into the picture, finding a kinship with her, for she knew a hard life as well. So, since his family didn't exactly live in the best of neighborhoods in Queens, he joined a gang to get them protection, and became one of the gang's top enforcers, being given the name Tombstone, because that's all he leaves when you're done with him, when he's done with you. Unfortunately, in his senior year, he got into an accident due to him saving Felicia from a botched robbery of medicine and had some weird chemical spill on him, making him stronger and inability to feel pain. He had used this to his advantage on the streets, eventually working for the mob in Queens, but now he wants to rule it all, and has sparked civil war within the mafia. But his plan is to have his foster sister, who's now an expert thief, steal the information on the bank accounts of his rivals, bleeding them dry of resources and take them down with little trouble. Since Spider-Man has entered this little war of his, Lonnie must figure out a way to squash the spider. Finally, the second antagonist is Felicia Hardy, aka Black Cat. Growing up with her father, Walter Hardy, who was the famed / notorious thief, the cat burglar, who got arrested and jailed years ago, so she was placed in the foster home after foster home until finally ended up in the same foster family with Lonnie Lincoln. While the foster family had a lot of kids in the house, Felicia and Lonnie were kind of the outsiders. While they did hang out, talk to, and care for their foster siblings and parents, they bonded over their criminal-like tendencies. Even though Felicia did try to be good and do right by her foster family, she would be lying if she said she didn't enjoy the rush of taking things for people, preferably things that are worth some money. As her skills for thieving were getting better, she craved more of a challenge in order to earn her treasures. This didn't go unnoticed by her stepbrother, Lonnie, who asked her for help in some store robberies without causing too much attention, which she passed with flying colors. As the years passed on, she grew close to her older adopted brother, while essentially his right hand. While she did try to keep out of the messier stuff that Lonnie seemed to revel in order to show her adopted family's faith was not unwarranted, she does have his back when needed. That's mostly because she feels responsible for the accident that caused Lonnie to be the man he is now. When trying to steal medicine for one of their adopted siblings that was ill, and the family couldn't afford medicine, she and Lonnie decided to steal some from a local pharmacy, but Felicia got too cocky, getting caught by the security guard, and the resulting tussle by Lonnie to free her from the guard's grip. There was unlicensed chemicals in the bag. Lonnie had them spill it onto him, making him tougher and stronger. So she stayed with him, feeling that she owes him for causing his accident, as she's become a premier thief and spy for Lonnie, helping him build up his reputation on the streets as she focused on keeping her new family together and safe. Now, as she tries to keep one nosy spider-themed cutie of a hero from messing with her brother's plans, even if she's not entirely sure if she likes the path Lonnie's going down now. So that was my character list. Now we move on to the theme and how it affects the characters. Previously I had said that the theme of this story is love, with the realization of love and the abuse of love as primary elements of the overall theme. So with Peter, it's always about him rekindling the loving relationship he had with May and finally realizing his feelings for MJ. While May learns that sometimes love can often be construed by fear and realize that in order to love someone, you must be willing to let them go and trust they can stand on their own 2 feet. Going to MJ, she goes through the realization that it's better to confess feelings of love than it is to hold it in. With Felicia, aka Black Cat, she must realize that how love for someone can be used against you, and one must decide if the person you love might not actually love you back. And as for Tombstone, it's really his incapability of truly loving and trusting people that lead to his downfall. Even though he was smart enough to manipulate Felicia's love for him, he can't truly love his foster sister or family since he thinks power gives him feeling of fulfillment that's in his heart, when actually it's to be accepted and loved by people that needs to be in his heart, but isn't. So that was my pitch for my MCU Spider-Man 3 movie. Again, I do recommend that you watch my previous rewrites of Homecoming and Far From Home in order for better context of this video. And in brightest day, in blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Until next time, my legion.